Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pez Network proudly brings to you its tag team champions of the world, the Road Dogg Tino Gray, the badass Rob Potsy Potchak. That's right, the Potsy and Tino Show. Hi, Nicole. She's making a guest appearance on the show tonight. I heard it's somebody's. Your picture just went out. Like you're literally frozen with Tino with his mouth wide open. Or did my internet just go out? Yep, Tino's having technical difficulties. Anyway, welcome to the Potsy and Tino Show. I'm your host, Rob Potsy Potchak. Hopefully, we'll get Tino back up here in a minute. Right now, I just have a blank screen for him. So hopefully, he'll be with us momentarily. Nope, he's completely dropped off the world now. Anyways, here he comes. We finally invite Nicole to the show, and your screen goes out.
You were in the middle of you were doing your intro, and then all of a sudden you were like, and she was like, he froze because you froze. I'm like, you literally just froze. That's why.
So here's what's scary. I don't know which one of us actually froze because I was still talking on the air, and you were like this.
Yeah, all I heard was you started to say the badass, and then it was out.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's go ahead and start that all over. Welcome to the show, the Potsy and Tino Show. He's Tino Gray. I'm Rob Potsy Potchak. As always, our theme song would be brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents. We'd like for you to subscribe to the show on youtube.com/Rob Potchak. We may have a special guest on the show tonight, not just possibly Nicole, but we may get our good friend, Mr. Helios, on the show sometime tonight too.
She was here and then you froze and she's like, well, I'm going to eat dinner now because they just got home.
No problem. So Tino, we always start the show with a little segment called What's Up With You?
What's up with you? Well, you in the middle of telling me your saga. I pretty much all I had Saturday. I got a show. I went down to Hickory and played Saturday night. A place called Windy City Sundries, and dude, that show was phenomenal because I think everybody was just so happy to get out, and then they had live music, so that place was awesome. They can only be at half capacity, but there's still a good 60 people in there. Had at a time, and people were and obviously people coming in and out. So we had a great time. Tip Bucket was awesome.
Tip Bucket,
baby. And then then I got back yesterday.
Oh, the Tip Bucket. I thought you said Tit Bucket. I'm like, what the hell's a Tit Bucket?
Tip Bucket.
So, I wouldn't mind a Tit Bucket. Somebody throwing some money in there and titties pop out. I mean, I'm all right with that.
Well, I'm a married man now. I can't do that anymore now. Back in the day, that was an option, but
you sound like the main character from Red Dead Redemption, where he's like, "Sorry, ma'am, I'm a married man."
Married man.
Sorry, I'm a married man.
And then came back, did the Easter thing. My mom came. Nicole's friends came, and Haley was home, and she bought her her new bow. But okay, so.
We started talking about this guy last week.
Yeah, she didn't really watch this though. So right now, I was like, so me and Nicole are like, dude, it's your boyfriend. You've gone to the beach with him. You've met his parents. You went to his birthday party, and stayed over, slept on the floor, whatever. So she's met all his family, and then but she still said, oh no, we're talking. He's not my boyfriend. He's just my friend. We're just talking, getting to know each other. I said, you guys are talking. Is not your boyfriend? I'm like, no. I'm like, all right, cool. So next show I have in town, I'm gonna take him out because he's 22. I'll take him out to the bar, and hang out and meet a couple girls. She's like, Daddy. And you can see the look on her face. I'm like, but he's not your boyfriend. So
yeah, well, at the same time, you wouldn't want to see exactly like if he's a player or not, like while that's all going on.
I just want to get that reaction, see what she's gonna say, if she's gonna change it or not. But she didn't. She's still saying it's a friend.
You could tell her he could come hang out with Uncle Rob because two single bachelors, you know.
There you go. So she went back, and so like I said, I'd be there today, but I got off work because I had to. Because yesterday my plan was to get, because Nicole's birthday's tomorrow, so my plan was to get her gifts yesterday, but not thinking that all the stores were closed on Easter Sunday. I'm like, they're closed on Easter. Everywhere I needed to go. So
surprisingly, GameStop was still open because they almost never close. But it was pretty crazy that places like Target were closed yesterday,
yes.
and they almost never close on a day like Easter. And I have to assume that it was because they're still riding the we'll do what's right because of COVID thing. As long as they're hitting record sales, they don't care.
So I did that today, and that's why I'm not there. So tomorrow's her birthday, and then Wednesday I get my second shot, and then I'll be vaccinated completely. So
and I get mine next Tuesday.
Your first or your second?
Second. At 7:30 in the morning.
Woo.
So I'm really hoping I don't get side effects because I'm supposed to go to work.
Didn't you just? Damn! How long are you supposed to wait? Has it been a month already?
So the Pfizer one, that they're making me wait 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's about right. Because I got my first one on March 8th or something. And
I got my card in my pocket. I'll tell you.
Yeah, mine is in the car. But I just know April 7th. I just remember that because it's the day after Nicole's birthday. I go to get my second one. You all right? You look confused.
Suddenly, I can't hear you.
Oh, I did nothing.
Is anybody watching the show? Can you hear Tino?
Everybody can hear Tino.
You got your hand over your microphone?
No.
Yeah, there is no sound coming from you.
I touched nothing.
Hold on a second. How about now?
I touched nothing.
Can you hear me fine?
I hear you fine. I've done nothing since we started.
Hold on a second.
Terrence hears me.
Yeah, dude, you got like no sound coming out.
Terrence can hear me.
And now we got comments too.
He hears me.
Terrence says he hears you, but I don't hear you.
And he can hear you.
Let me try plugging this Yeti mic back in.
Now you're gone.
Am I back?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hold on. I'm going to push you back through so that we don't get. Oh, and you know what? Now it's saying that the Yeti isn't collecting the audio.
Hey T, weren't you on this? He sent you the thing.
Oh well. Do I still sound okay?
Yeah, it'll work.
All right, because it's coming through the.
You see, T says sometimes Yeti will change the speaker to your Yeti output.
Well, it did, and then when I plugged the headset into the Yeti disconnected. So and now it's saying that the Yeti is not connected at all.
Chris Barrett has arrived with news. What's up, Chris? First of all, second of all, what's your news, bud? And T apparently is coming. So.
Hold on, he's coming. Hold on.
Now, T, you don't have a female with you when you say that, right? So, ooh, sorry.
So that's what's going on with you, huh?
Yep. So, what's up with you, my brother?
So, we got WrestleMania week.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed how much programming for WWE there is, and I know that we're not going to talk wrestling just yet, but we got a stacked show tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But this week, it's Monday is Raw.
Yep.
Tuesday is the Hall of Fame on Peacock.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Wednesday and Thursday is NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver.
Friday SmackDown.
Friday SmackDown, which is WrestleMania SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday is WrestleMania. Sunday is WrestleMania, Monday is Raw, and Tuesday is NXT.
Yeah, you see how, and you notice that when NXT announced they're moving to Tuesday, Impact is now moving to Thursday. So my week is going to be stacked. I got
You got wrestling every day of the week now.
Yes, I do.
Now, did you notice?
Congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations to Chris Barrett picking up a 2012 Volkswagen Passat. It's actually a really good car. So good job on that. Did you notice though that Peacock has also announced that NXT's Tuesday on USA will be available on Wednesday on Peacock? Mm-hmm. So if you still want your Wednesday Night Wars, you can still have your Wednesday Night Wars.
That's why I called you Sunday. You had text me talking about the commercials on Peacock.
Yeah, they can go to hell.
And I was no, and I was calling you back to tell you stop being a cheap ass. See, I paid the $10 and I get no commercials. Stop being a cheap ass. And you
I was thinking that they would have offered the 4-month deal, but make it $20 and give you the commercial free version.
I just pay the $10 and get the commercial free, dude. That's how I watch. That's how I watch Young Rock, and I watch the Keenan show on there. It's awesome show.
So it's funny because like Hulu, I have my sister's access to it, and she pays for the commercial free version. So I wasn't even recognizing the fact that I was watching all these shows commercial free recently because I just caught up on the Mayans. If you ever watched Sons of Anarchy, it's the sequel series to that about a different motorcycle gang. Mm-hmm. It's surprisingly good for being in that same world and everything, but taking place after the whole Jax Teller story. But yeah, I'm gonna have to because in a 45-minute program there was 4.5 minutes of commercials, and I was like gritting my teeth the whole time a commercial came up because with WWE Network they would have advertisements, but they would never be in the middle of the show.
But even with the network, I guess did you just get the cheap network too?
No, I did the $10 one.
I didn't have commercials.
But you get ads though, but the ads would be for the WWE Network, or every so often you'd get like a Snickers commercial, but it wouldn't be in the middle of the program. It would be either the beginning or the end.
Oh, okay, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Even Hulu, their commercial free broadcasts, there's certain programs that they do 2 commercials before the show and then a commercial after the show, and it's because they're not part of the commercial free version or whatever. So what's going on with me, Tino, besides finally setting up Peacock this week? I actually WWE Network had to issue me a refund of $2.07 because mine hadn't run out by the time that it was exclusive on Peacock.
I need to check mine then.
Yeah, my PayPal account got $2.07 back from WWE Network. I thought that was pretty cool of them. So about Wednesday of last week, it was either Wednesday or Thursday, I was sitting there watching. I think I was watching AEW, and I was eating a thing of peanut butter filled pretzels.
There you go.
I love peanut butter filled pretzels because they're not high in carbs, and they taste good. So they're a lot of fun, right? Cracked my tooth on it, and suddenly I had chunks of tooth that I was pulling out of my mouth, and I probably even said it on the show that I lost a filling on a tooth on my right side of my mouth, and this is on the left side of my mouth. So today I had to take a half day of work, which, by the way that my PTO and ETO, personal time off and emergency time off works is I have 1 bucket of time off, right? Mm-hmm. But because I didn't request it ahead of time, they call it an occurrence at my job, which means you basically only get a certain amount of times that you can do this kind of thing per calendar year or whatever.
Oh.
So I got a 0.25 occurrence, and my boss was like, "Yeah, there's no way around it because you didn't request the time off ahead of time." And I'm like,
But what if something like this happens, like an emergency pops up?
"Well, and that's just it. That's why they give you a certain amount of occurrences you can have in a year without getting in trouble, right?"
Yeah.
And apparently the whole reason why the company does it that way is because people were taking advantage of the sick time and stuff like that. So they basically said, okay, we've got to put something in place where if you're excessively taking sick time off and you don't have doctor's notes or anything else, we can fire you for that kind of stuff. And it makes sense, it. Like I said, they gave me a 0.25 occurrence, and I was told like you have to have 9 full occurrences before you get in trouble.
Okay.
So like the and here's Chris Barrett saying, got to get those implants. Chris Barrett, I'll tell you, implants are so expensive, but when I finally crack that New York Times bestseller list, that'll probably be the first thing I do. I'll do the Ben Affleck and get a whole new grill.
So you can pull all your teeth out and put in implants?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, because they're porcelain, so they don't ever break down, which means you could have perfect teeth for the rest of your life. And that'd be fine by me, especially since
porcelain would break easier.
Not from what I've heard.
Huh?
Not from what I've heard. But
I think of porcelain. I think of like toilet bowls. You can crack a toilet bowl with a sledgehammer. You know what I'm saying?
But that's with a sledgehammer. Like who's going to take a sledgehammer to your teeth? I mean, I do watch the Mayans. That might happen on that show. But
if you trip and fall and hit your face on concrete,
Well, if you got enough money to change out all of your teeth with porcelain falsies, you probably have enough to get one replaced again.
Yeah.
So anyway, so here I was thinking, I go to the dentist, I'll get the x-rays, they'll tell me what needs to be done, and they'll just do it. Nope. Got to go back Wednesday. Luckily, like everyone was telling me that you have to wait a certain amount of time before you're even allowed into the dentist right now because of COVID and all this other bullshit. So the fact that I got an appointment today, when I called them yesterday knowing that they would call me back when the office opened. So that was kind of cool because they were like, yeah, we can see you 2:20 today. And I'm like, shit, okay. Damn thing hurts. So yeah, I'll be there, right? But I was thinking, okay, they'll just pull the fucker. But no, they don't do that there. They only do general dentistry, like putting in fillings and shit.
Yeah, you go see her like a
oral surgeon. So I have my oral surgery on Wednesday, and I told you before the show that I told them that they're gonna have to knock my ass out, and you were like, no, you could get Novocaine, and if I did Novocaine, it's like half the cost. Okay, but let me explain to you my history with Novocaine. Okay, first time I ever had a cavity, I go. And they're like, okay, we're gonna numb you up with Novocaine. Okay, cool. Numb me up, right? Numb me up, and we'll get started. So they put in the shot. They're like, can you still feel this? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you shouldn't be able to feel anything right now. Like, well, fuck it, I can feel it. All right, well, so they shoot me again. Can you feel it? Yeah, I can still feel that. Okay. Well, we can't give you any more because you become allergic to the Novocaine. In fact, I think Chris Barrett's talking about Steve-O. I think Steve-O or some. Oh no, it was one of the Impractical Jokers actually became allergic to Novocaine because they numbed up his mouth so much in the one episode that he couldn't have a conversation with people. But anyways, so anyway, with my whole situation, they numbed me up like 3 or 4 times. And when they went to drill into my mouth, I could still feel everything. Like was it dull? Yes. But when they hit something, all of a sudden I was like, ah, and they're like, you shouldn't be able to feel anything at this point. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I can feel that. So today the doctor was actually like, well, I got, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but redheaded people have a different threshold of pain. And I'm like, and she's like, they feel pain differently or something. And I'm like, I've heard stuff like that, but I don't know if I believe it. But, I mean, like, hell, I was walking around probably needing heart surgery for how long, right? So.
Well, then you're a big baby bitch because you say that and you feel this and you're like, and you got a hot threshold of pain. But when I damn Ric Flair chop you cry like I killed you.
Nobody likes to get Ric Flair chopped, asshole. And my chest has been cut open, so I have a giant scar that's very sensitive.
I hit you before your surgery.
Yeah, but even still, that's a Ric Flair chop. You don't like getting Ric Flair chopped either, motherfucker.
Or if I punch you in the arm.
Well, that's because you end up punching me in the arm like 6 times in the same exact spot.
Because you pissed me off.
So anyway, though, like Wednesday, I've got to go there with somebody because they've got to drive me there, drive me home, and everything else. And on top of that, I've got to request more time off from work because of it.
So here's my thing. So you got that 0.25 today. Now, could you tell them that how far in advance do you have to let them know? Like you're doing this thing Wednesday, they're going to give you more points again, or is that enough time to use or something?
So I was worried about it, and I messaged my boss when I got home tonight after going to the dentist, and he was like, as soon as you get to work tomorrow, make sure that you put in for the request for half a day on Wednesday. Okay. So as far as I know,
why couldn't you do it then?
What's that?
Why couldn't you do it then? Like, hey, I'm putting it in now. Or do you have to be during office hours to do that?
I think, you have to be during office hours. So, because you actually have to put it in through a system, and it's weird. It's called like Blue Pumpkin or some shit. Like, I'm not even making that up. I think it's actually called Blue Pumpkin.
Wow.
But so the other thing that I mentioned to him, because I was like, hey, I got to get a dentist appointment like ASAP, blah blah blah, and then I said, oh, and I got my second COVID shot coming on next Tuesday. So I know that everyone keeps saying that that's where you start feeling side effects and everything else. So if I don't feel well because I'm getting it at 7:30 in the morning, what do I do about that? And he said, because I didn't want another occurrence, right? Like I go 4.5 months, no occurrences, and all of a sudden it's like, well, you got a 0.25 here, you got a 0.25 here, you got a 1 here, and he's like, COVID's a little bit different. We actually let you go and get your shot, and if you do have side effects, as long as you turn in the information early enough in the day, because you don't feel well, we let that go because you're doing what's right by getting the vaccination and everything. And I was like, that's cool. That's cool. So, and I let everybody on my team know that, because when he let me know, I was like, well, everyone keeps going, well, what's the deal with getting the second shot? And Well, there it is. So, had all this good stuff happening over weeks and weeks and weeks, and all of a sudden my mouth just goes, fuck you. So anyway, it sucks, man, because like my mouth hurts right now. And I went and I bought this stuff that you can actually like fill the hole for like limited amounts of time or whatever. So I put that in, and the dentist was like, it looks like somebody already tried to fix this a little bit. And I was like, yeah, that was me. And she goes, you did a really good job. And I'm like, I don't know how, I couldn't see shit. Like, I'm sitting there going, she's like, well, you covered up all the, not Oragel. The Oragel, what that does, Chris, is that kind of does the Novocaine thing and just numbs you up like on the outside, but doesn't really do anything when it comes to the nerves.
Well, can you take ibuprofen or something? Because that should have helped. I'm
allergic to ibuprofen.
Fuck, you are messed up.
Yeah. So I've been taking a leave for the pain, because what it's doing is it's like it when it hurts because you touch something to it or whatever, it's like unbearable, right? But there's this tension headache right here that just doesn't want to go away. So
you think that's part of the two, or you think it just happened with the pollen and you have allergies or anything? You think that could be?
So I do, but it's interesting. Ever since we started wearing masks, I go to the car wearing my mask. I go into the house wearing the mask. I take the mask off when I get in the house or whatever. But like I'll walk to the car wearing a mask, so I'm probably doing away with most of the pollen. Now, am I allergic to the pollen? Yes. Not really the yellow pollen, although that has started getting to me over the years. But like the really small pollen shit is always the one that like always affects me. But I mean, I work at home now, so I don't open the windows. I turn the air conditioning on. I finally got my old Roomba fixed, so I've got my little Roomba running around the house cleaning up all the dust and dirt all day long. It's loud as shit because it's like the first model they ever made, but like they got to figure out a way to make those things silent. If they made those things silent, could you imagine like if I still had Landis right now and I was running a Roomba around the house?
No.
It would bang into her constantly.
Because she wouldn't know something. Then she might bark at it.
So Chris Barrett says he loves him some Novocaine. I believe that. This is what you do: chew 4 Bear aspirin and chase it with a glass of water. So all I've been doing is I've been like, when the pain is unbearable, and really all I've been doing is this: is right before I go to bed, I take an Aleve. And the reason why is because Aleve is supposed to do the same thing that like ibuprofen does or anything else. It's one pill, but you're not supposed to take more than one a day. You know, like you can take 2 because it's like 12-hour medicine or whatever. But what's really important is sleep, right? So that's when I take it. And yeah, is it unbearable when I go to work or whatever? Yes, but you know, it's not the first time I've gone to work not feeling well. So that's what's going on with me. And other than that, you know, I've been doing my sketch and sips. I've been not too much. It's been kind of quiet. We did have Easter dinner with my mom yesterday. She says it was dinner. It was noon.
Well, when you get older, that's what happens.
That is true. And you know, her birthday's the day after Nicole's. It's also the day that I'm getting my oral surgery done, because my plan was to actually go visit her at work because she's got to work. My mom turned 72 and she's going to be cocktail waitressing at the Angus Barn in Raleigh on her birthday.
Wow.
So, and it's funny too, because I was like, oh, Mom, I'll probably just go and visit you. And now I've got a dentist appointment that day where, you know, I probably won't be able to put anything like the oral surgery, by the way. I can't eat or drink anything 8 hours before the surgery.
Yeah. If they're going to put you out, yeah.
Not even water.
Yeah, if you throw up, you'll aspirate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they said. So like, I'm going to go through half a day of work. I'm going to go get this oral surgery done, and I'm going to be starving, and I'm not going to want to chew anything because my mouth is going to have 2 giant holes in it. So it is what it is, I guess.
Hey, who just entered? You recognize Sting?
Do I recognize who? Who's gonna win? We will get to that. We're gonna give our predictions probably towards the end of the show. And actually, Tino, we're gonna go ahead and invite.
Oh, he's finally here. There he is. There he is.
You say he's finally here?
Yeah.
He's finally here?
He's finally here.
I was just about to ask.
Hair.
I'm like, where the hell is he?
Hello.
Welcome to the show, Terrence. As he is known to the YouTube crowd, Mr. Helios. We were just getting ready to go into the GameStop story of the week, but before we do, what's been going on with Terrence?
Not too much, just work as normal. I'm just a normal everyday working man, but still do the podcast.
Clopen today, right?
Got
stuck with the Clopen?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about the Clopen because I might go off on the show tonight. So,
for those that don't understand, a Clopen is when you have to close at your job the night before and then come back to open. And what makes it even worse for someone like Terrence is that the bar is open till 1 a.m. So it makes it much more difficult to do a Clopen than something like GameStop, where I had to do it for many, many years when it was 9 p.m. and then 9 a.m. the next day, or 8:30 in the morning, or whatever the hell they wanted me there.
I think it's a little worse. What time you guys open?
We open at 11, but I had to be there at 10.
You still get
not too bad.
You get a little bit of sleep, but it still sucks.
No, I couldn't sleep last night.
Oh.
It's all good. No, that's all good. I tried to put Invincible on until I fell asleep. But other than that, just running Villains of Vinyl with my homies. Make sure y'all check that out. Shameless plug right there.
Shameless. What the hell just happened? Oh, I was like,
I switched the view for us.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell? All right, cool.
Make it a little bit easier for everybody to see us.
Sweet. All right, let's get this GameStop story going.
All right. So last week I told the story about how I forgot pants.
Yes.
At managers conference, right? So all right. This week we're gonna go with something a little bit more subtle. It's nothing crazy or anything. What's that?
I was telling T, I was like, he was drunk. So I asked him, I said, "Were you drunk?" He goes, "Well, yeah, but that's not the point I was rushing."
When that year that I forgot to pack pants for the managers conference, I was definitely drunk the night before. Got home at like 4 a.m. Had to be at the airport at 6, and just grabbed like 4 pairs of khaki shorts instead of grabbing khaki pants and throwing them into everything. So, I'm gonna give him the gun and call 911. I don't know what that's all about, Sting. And Tony Schiavone's not here to give you your proper entrance, but so
someone please call 911.
So anyway, the GameStop story of the week this week is when I took over a store for like the first time, I took over Crabtree Valley Mall. We called it the old 96er because stores are always given a number.
Oh, and so that was 96er? You talked about the 96er before, but I didn't know which store it was. Now I know. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it was the Crabtree Babbage's. It wasn't even the Crabtree GameStop that's there now.
Got it.
They used to have a Babbage's across the hallway.
Yep.
So they had 2 stores, literally like you could spit at each other if you wanted to. So anyway, whenever we took over stores, you always had to make it your own, right? And normally it was because like when you got a store to take over, it was always a piece of shit, So and these stores weren't like that because I was actually running the Crabtree EB at the time, and then there was the Babbage's. Well, I was brand new to the company, so I didn't really know like all the policies, procedures, everything else. So my boss flipped us, the manager that was at the Babbage's, over to the EB, and me over to the Babbage's. Well, for whatever reason, when you start cleaning your store, they tell you to look everywhere. So I would look in like the ceiling tiles and everything else just to see if somebody's hiding any weird shit up there. Yeah,
I'll be back for this later.
Well, so one of the classic things that GameStops would do, because the managers, like for example, the Babbage's had like an 8x8 back room. Okay, so when you're filling it up with systems and everything at Christmas time, like there's no space. But when they tell you that you gotta change your shelving and everything else around in the building, like where do you put all that shelving if you've got no space in your back room, right? So guess where the shelving ended up? Above the ceiling tiles. So
that can't be good.
Oh no.
That cannot be good.
And like fire marshals don't ever look up there or anything, so that's where people would put it. Like they would figure out a way to put like boards up, and then they would just throw all the shelving up there. And years later, people would just, I'm sure in some stores it did fall through. Even worse is like anytime that a hurricane would come through or whatever, you'd always have to worry that there'd be leaky ceilings and everything else. Well, imagine that you got a leaky ceiling while you also had shelving just randomly shoved up there, and all of a sudden your ceiling tiles would get soggy, and what would happen?
They're coming down. Everything's coming down, and hope there's no customers in the store when it does.
And typically when you were talking about hurricane rains and stuff like that, the stores would normally be closed, especially Crabtree, because for those that don't know, the bottom level would flood every time it rains.
I know people who left their cars down there trying to collect insurance.
Yeah, that ended up being a thing where they stopped letting people park down there, and they'd actually tow your cars out.
Yep.
So you couldn't do that because I'm sure a couple of them actually got away with it too. But yeah, so I left that store and ended up taking over Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh.
Yep.
And it had like literally like 3 stores worth of shelving up above the ceiling tiles, man. Like it was all like, and it's because that store had a back room, but didn't have a lot of storage space. So all that shelving that people would be like, oh well, we don't have anywhere in our store for it, so they would go ahead and they'd bring it over to that store. Well, whoever was the managers before me were like, well, shit, now I got all this shelving. Like, what the fuck do I do with it? So they would just throw it up there. So I think finally last year the manager that's there now was given like a directive to go up there and get all the shelving down.
Oh no. No.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that always made me laugh was that you walk into a GameStop and you could ask like, hey, what's up in the ceiling? And you just find random shit. Like at one point, somebody was like trying to reach over to grab like some of the shelving out, and they put their foot through the ceiling tile.
That's dangerous. That's workman's comp. They're setting you up to get hurt, die.
Oh yeah. Well, and you got to think that those ceiling tiles are probably set at least 9 feet high. So like you got to think that there's a good possibility that if you fall through, like just even your foot, you're not going to have enough to sit there and get your balance back. So you're going through and you're hitting something. And that Capitol Boulevard store, when the person did it and they put their foot through, like I think they fell to where the counter was in the front of the store.
Through? Let it fell all the way through?
Oh yeah. So it was like a ladder match.
Somebody up, you're like, oh no.
Well, last week I told you about the district manager that actually like disappeared and everything. But did I ever tell you about how he like built his desk for the office and everything at that store?
It happened again. Rob?
Am I gone?
No, I think Tino is. Tino froze.
But I'm still here?
Yeah, I'm still with you. Tino doing the 2 fingers pose right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully Tino comes back here in a minute because you're right. He definitely did freeze. That's twice tonight he's already frozen. So the district manager that disappeared, by the way, T, he at one point he was building his desk in the back room, but he wasn't building it the way that most people would build their desk. He actually went ahead and got like wood planks and everything, and then you back
me off.
What's that? So it's you. It's not actually me. Terrence was still here with me. So
you was like this for like
you were
30
like
seconds. But
it wasn't like when you were like.
Somebody we should have made you a meme.
So anyway, I was just getting ready to also add in that the district manager that ended up disappearing, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that same store, he brought in like a table saw and everything else. And instead of using the table saw outside the back room, would be sitting there like sawing wood to make his floorboards and his desk and everything else. I started telling you that. Well, I didn't tell you that like it was during business hours. While customers were out front and they're sitting there like, what the hell's going on in the back?
I hear
like it's just. Chris Barrett just said that the guy falling through is more like a scaffold match.
Pull a James Z and break both his knees.
So guys, that was this week's GameStop story of the week. So next time you go into your local GameStop, ask if they got any shelving in the ceiling.
So let's get in. I say we get in this wrestling because we got a lot to unpack.
Yeah, and there's 3 of us to give predictions tonight. So let's go ahead and start with last week's broadcast of I mean AEW.
Why'd you say ew? Are you
Well,
sounding on AEW?
I'm trying to pronounce it. We're gonna lose viewers if we keep that up. Kind of like drunk Chewbacca's. So all right, so Tino, what happened on AEW last week?
Why the hell you come to me? I'm trying to remember.
All right, Terrence, what happened on AEW last week?
You were the AEW buffs. You know, I was at work.
The big thing is, I guess, QT Marshall turned on the Nightmare Family.
I did see that.
That wasn't. Although I'll tell you that wasn't the biggest thing. That wasn't the biggest thing that made me pop. Rob, you know what made me pop?
What made you?
I don't remember AEW.
Well, I can tell you what made me pop was the first match of the night, Christian Cage versus Frankie Kazarian.
That was one of them.
That match was excellent, and it's funny that's how they start their show, and then it's like a downhill crescendo from there. But
the last match was pretty good.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like the Moxley match was good. The Darby Allin and Sting promo was actually a lot of fun. I loved how they went with the Ryan Reynolds wearing the Hugh Jackman mask of Matt Hardy. I find it really odd that Matt Hardy is coming against Darby Allin all of a sudden. Like there was no build up to that story, and suddenly it's just hey, Darby Allin versus Matt Hardy because Matt Hardy, the former WWE guy, deserves a TNT title match.
Oh, of course, but that's not what I'm talking about.
That's Money Matt. That's Money Matt. He paid for that title match.
My favorite part was MJF's gift to the Pinnacle. So he's in the. Did you see this, Rob? So he's they're in Inner
Circle's locker room, right?
So he goes, I got a surprise for you. I got an interior designer. We're gonna do all this, and this nasty, stinky bathroom. He opens the door, and all of them, the Inner Circle's just looking at him. And MJF didn't miss a beat. He closed the door. We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. And like, what? And he goes to open the door to get out, and Swagger's there and just lays him out. And they proceed to have a brawl between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. The Inner Circle, obviously whipped their ass, and they took the locker room back, ripped down the Pinnacle sign, and put the Inner Circle sign back up. I think that was probably one of my favorite parts of the night. This MJF, he just opens the door, and Chris Jericho, and they're just standing looking at him, and he just straight face closes the door. We got to get out of here. We got to go.
so that part popped you, but I know that something else popped you as well, Tino, and that was Trent's mom showing up during Arcade Anarchy.
That was dumb.
Driving up in the minivan.
That was dumb.
To drop Trent off. Are you kidding? That's what got them over.
Yes.
I did find it funny that Chris Statlander was dressed up as the three-eyed alien from Toy Story in the claw machine.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So there was a lot of fun on AEW this week. I think
I got a question. Are the best friends were the only people to have a mother get them over the storyline because it did not work for Shelton Benjamin? It did not work for Buff Bagwell.
Judy in a pole match? Come on.
Baby, you might got me there, Tino.
I don't know. Do we get to count Linda McMahon?
Nah.
Because Linda got herself over when she was like when she gave control of the company to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
My favorite is when she was supposed to be comatose in the WrestleMania, and they put the wheelchair in her room, and she just stood up and kicked Vince in the nuts. Remember that?
And of course, Joe popped big time.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
He should have.
I gotta ask. Are they setting Moxley up to get his ass beat by the entire Bullet Club with the Young Bucks joining Moxley against the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega here?
No, because I think they've got, I don't know what it is, and they might have another signee coming. I think there's another big surprise coming. It's got to be.
I wouldn't be surprised if what we actually end up seeing is Moxley, Christian Cage, and the Big Show versus those three. Now, granted, I don't think they'll become a stable, but all the talk of what actually talked Christian Cage into coming to AEW was his conversations with Moxley. So I kind of think that way you got the big guy going up against Gallows, you got Carl Anderson going up against Christian Cage, and you got Moxley versus Kenny Omega.
I think they had to call an audible because I think they were getting ready to push Eddie Kingston and Moxley. And I think when Kingston got hurt, I think that they might have done a little monkey wrench in their plans.
Yeah, see, I would rather that if they were to do anything with Eddie Kingston, that they make him the mouthpiece for Moxley. Because even though Moxley's fine on the mic, Eddie Kingston doesn't have the same in-ring repertoire that his mouth does. He's cashing checks, but he's not paying the bills.
Neither does Mr. Five Moves and Doom John Cena. Just because you see how Cena got over.
John Cena got a good match out of Khali. Hall of Famer, great Khali.
I think Kingston can put on a good match. You don't think
he puts on a good brawl? And if you try to tell me anything about like he's this era's Mick Foley or anything, I'm going to slap you next time I see you. Because Mick Foley knew how to put any kind of good match together.
I'll punch you in your jaw.
Terrence, what the hell's going on with you?
I thought he froze for a minute too.
No, I'm sorry. I'm watching Raw too. So
stop it.
We don't watch Raw during the broadcast.
Stop it.
That way when we
I watch y'all and the show at the same time. I watch both of y'all at the same time. And I haven't do like this.
Well, yeah, but you're on the show tonight. You can't be watching another show and on the show.
I didn't glance over. I'm sorry.
You turn that shit off. Tino just went dead again, so you're gonna have to be the backup.
And it was that I touched.
So all right. So I'm done talking about AEW. I actually thought the show was very good. Obviously, they won the Wednesday Night War.
We're moving. I don't know if it's this room. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
I don't know what's going on because this never happens. I always sit in this room, and my internet's Wi-Fi, everything's good. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
It's going to piss me off.
So Tino, what I was just saying to Terrence while you disappeared again, I kind of think that this was a victory lap for AEW this week. They had already announced that NXT was moving to Tuesdays. Everybody knew it. So AEW put on a good show to go against the go-home show for NXT. And I'm sure they won the ratings again because AEW fans don't watch NXT no matter what, no matter how good the program is, no matter how good the wrestling is.
NXT is off the chain right now.
They have been stellar. And with that said, I'm gonna say that I think that this was their victory lap. They were basically sitting there going, "Hey, we're definitely going to give you some lead to the future, but we're also going to have a lot of fun tonight because this is a celebration, bitches."
Some celebration, bitches.
Exactly.
Celebration, bitches.
Celebration, bitches. It's a celebration, bitches.
Damn right.
And right now, what I'm doing is I'm listening to you, but I am like kicking some people off the network in this house because maybe that's slowing me down.
That's probably exactly what it is. So while you're doing that, Tino, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up NXT. And not only are we going to talk about NXT, but we'll go ahead and we'll make our NXT stand and deliver predictions during this part of the broadcast, if you are cool with it.
Yep.
All right. So on NXT, the night started with Roderick Strong coming out to brand new music.
I noticed that.
And your favorite guy, Tino, Mr. To the Moon, coming out
he is. I can't lie.
His new shirt.
No, he's entertaining. His
new shirt, What was it? Grimes.
What did it say?
Grimes the system.
Like stupid like that. He is hilarious.
And then they started the music, and it was like Grimes the system, and then it played his music, and Roderick Strong just lost it, man. And he's like, "You son of a bitch, that's mine," you know. But
oh god,
but he came out to different music, and Roddy is such a good hand that he was able to sit there and play it off like this is really getting to him, like super getting to him. You getting a phone call from one of the people in the house?
My daughter, who knows I do this every Monday. I'm listening.
Put her on. I'll sit there, call her out.
I'm gonna cuss her out.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
You cussing her out in text message or?
Yeah.
Okay. So I love the moment where Roddy looked like he was actually going to take advantage in the match, and then he looked over in the crowd and saw two guys wearing Undisputed Era T-shirts, and it just threw him for a loop again.
I thought one of them was Cole.
Matt Hardy.
First.
And one of them looked like Matt Hardy.
Shut up.
Anyways, so that match actually was supposed to lead to the main event of the night was the 12-man over the top battle royal, six guys getting to see who's going to face Johnny Gargano. Hell of a match between the two of them. Like I don't normally like Cameron Grimes in the ring, but yet he's growing.
I like Cameron Grimes in the ring.
Yes, he was good in He was good when he was at TNA.
I don't even remember him in TNA, but that's because I didn't watch TNA. So,
yeah.
But so we had that. Then we had Kushida and Dunn having their little face to face. We got a lot of women's build up, because the whole night we had drunk Io Shirai just beating up on Raquel Gonzalez, and Raquel Gonzalez just whooping her. Like at one point when Raquel had her on her back and she slammed into the lockers, and she just kind of turned around to see if she was still there. It was like she thought she squashed her,
Which means Io's going to beat her at the pay-per-view.
I don't think so. I think and she could because there is a possibility of Raquel getting moved up before she ever wins the title, right?
Well, I don't know. They just called up Rhea Ripley, so if they move her up, they should probably put her on SmackDown.
I agree. I think that SmackDown's the right move, but at the same time, who knows? We got more build up between the way. like I'm going to tell you, Austin Theory. When he was in the match and his feet were on the ground, and he's like, how do I get back up? How do I get back up? And then he's like,
I know,
got it. And then he nip ups, and his feet land on the ground, and the woman's like, no, that's qualifying. Your feet hit the ground. And he's like, but it was a nip up. And then of course, like while they were still backstage, like Gargano's like, yeah, we'll totally do the finger poke of doom, and Gargano will still be the champion. And what's her face in Indy Hartwell there, and she's like, I think Loomis is gonna win.
Yep.
So it was a pretty boring NXT. There was good action, but it was pretty boring because they didn't want anybody to get hurt before the pay-per-view, because they already had the tag team champions get hurt. They already had there's already other people that are injured, like Bobby Fish. So they didn't want to push the top talent that's going to be on the pay-per-view into spots where they could get hurt. So I loved the talk, the voiceover from Walter about the build-up for his match with Ciampa, and then the Ciampa promo. Like,
Ciampa promo was awesome.
We haven't seen that kind of life out of Ciampa in a while. So him actually sitting there saying, yeah, maybe I have changed. I kind of like that build-up. The Santos Escobar match, I actually really liked the fact that they gave Tyler Breeze some airtime without Fandango, and then of course we got vignettes of both Karrion Kross and Finn Balor without them ever having to touch hands. And one of the other things that I really did like was during the 12-man match, because of the way that Kushida and Pete Dunne got knocked out of the match, they're now going to have a match at TakeOver, which had started with the two of them just disliking each other, like and saying it to each other. But I'm going to tell you, my favorite part about that 12-man match was that for about 3/4 of that match, Dexter Lumis didn't move out of that one corner, and nobody tried to hit him. Like, he was just...
They looked at him. I think somebody at one point looked at him, and he's just staring at him. He's like, nope. And he went back. I
think it was Pete Dunne. I think Pete Dunne looked at him and was
he's like, nope. And went
So, sorry, Tino.
Because if you stand in the corner, you look crazy. Just standing in the corner, not doing anything, not moving.
You've got the card.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead, folks? We're going to go ahead and break down the 2-night NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver.
Well, I'm going to go down the way they've got it listed. And right now they've got the first one they have listed is NXT's Women's Championship, Io versus Raquel.
So the smart money would be on Raquel.
I say Io.
Okay.
I'm taking the smart money.
You going to say Raquel too?
Yep.
All right. NXT United Kingdom Championship, Walter and Ciampa.
Ciampa. And I'm going to say that match could steal the whole week.
Walter.
Take him with Walter. Okay. And like I said, that's my that match to me very well could be. In fact, don't be surprised if that one opens the card.
Okay. We got the vacant NXT Tag Team Championship with MSK versus the Grizzled Young Veterans and Legado del Fantasma. Well, the way they're pushing MSK, I got to go with MSK.
With the way they're pushing MSK, I got to go with the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Oh, damn.
Where they pushing both of them, I'm going with Legado.
Oh, damn. Okay.
We should be writing these down.
I'm a Santos Escobar fan. I love that stable, so I actually want to get them tag goals, let them get a run with all the 3 goals for a little bit. That stable was like I told you from the get-go, Rob, when I first saw that how it happened. I like Santos.
All right. So next, this is going to be for the gauntlet match for the North American title shot on night 2. You got Leon Ruff versus Swerve versus Bronson Reed versus Tudamu versus Dexter Lumis versus LA Knight.
So LA Knight is a heel. So I don't think they go heel versus heel in that match. The smart money would be on Lumis. But that's why I don't think it's going to be him.
Who do you think it's going to be? You know who I think it's going to be.
I think he's going to buy it.
It could be.
So, so far, every time he tries to buy something, he does not seem to get it. Chris Barrett, I'm going to tell you, I love the fact that LA Knight's going to be the last guy in the gauntlet match, but I think that
it's too early, too soon.
Well, it depends. Every bit of this NXT pay-per-view reeks of who's getting called up right after. And it always does because it's the Mania events and everything. So that Monday you're going to have a tag team move up onto Raw. You're going to have on SmackDown you're going to have a singles wrestler move up on SmackDown. So there's going to be people that make the move, and the wonder now is whether or not Ciampa gives Walter the match that makes Walter a household name to regular NXT fans, because obviously, even though he's been the champion for 2 years now in the UK, he's not really a known name over here or a huge quantity. Same thing goes with Gargano and whether or not like the next generation of NXT guys, which would be LA Knight. So with what Chris Barrett's saying, if you go with LA Knight, it means Johnny Gargano is leaving NXT, in my opinion.
Either way, Gargano's that belt's coming off of Gargano, so I think he might be getting called.
I agree, but WrestleMania is normally when you got a heel, unless their name is Triple H, they lose the title to the babyface. So the question is, who's the babyface that would take it? And I don't see LA Knight as a babyface, but I do see someone like Dexter Lumis finally getting that spot.
So is that your pick for the winner of that gauntlet, Lumis?
Yeah, I go with Dexter Lumis.
What you got, T? You going with Lumis too? My boy. All right.
Yes, I go with Grimes too.
All right, so that's the end of night one. Night two, first off, they've got listed the NXT Championship. Finn Balor.
That goes last. We will give predictions on the main championship.
Who's reading this? Who's reading it off? If you want the good order you want to read it, you should have read it. I'm putting the order they got it here.
Do you really want to give your heavyweight championship in the middle of the?
Okay, baby bitch. I'll go from the bottom. NXT Cruiser Championship.
Calm down, kids.
NXT Cruiser Championship. Santos or Jordan in the ladder match.
I know who
Santos. They come with the gold. Santos is going to come with the gold.
He wants Santos. However, I'm going to tell you, I think Santos has bigger things in store. So yeah. I think this is Jordan Devlin's match to lose. So I think Jordan Devlin comes out with that title.
And the only reason I think that, I agree with Rob, he's got bigger fish to fry, and that's going to wrap up in that main event that we're talking about because those two have already crossed paths.
Carson in the house. What is up, C. Wood?
Women's tag team. What? Oh, women's tag team champions Shotzi and Ember versus The Way.
As much as I love The Way as wrestlers, I think it stays on Shotzi and Ember.
Yeah, they hadn't held it long enough. They need to,
Well, neither did Dakota and Raquel.
Yeah, but Dakota and Raquel didn't really need it. And they knew that they were going to push Raquel against Io. So I think, so they already had that.
We keep talking about the possibility of Raquel getting called up, but what about the possibility of Dakota Kai getting called up?
That's what I just said, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Johnny Gargano against To Be Determined. T and I are saying to the moon, and you're saying Dexter, right? Is that what you said, Dexter?
And I think we all agree that title is changing hands.
Yes.
So whoever it is going to take that title. We know it's not going to be Leon Ruff because they're really pushing him versus Swerve. However, the more I think about it, the more I think that they're really getting behind as creative, that they're really getting behind Swerve. So so it'll be interesting. It's going to be no matter how you look at it, that's all a good setup and good sets of matches there.
So next one, little effect, lights out, unsanctioned match with Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. You said the Ciampa match was going to be a match to the match of the night or whatever. I think this match is going to steal the show.
So this will probably, and it's funny, it's a lights out unsanctioned match, but the first match that these two guys have in NXT should be a straight up wrestling match because that's where I think they would steal the show. At the same,
I think they can work with this one too.
Oh, they're both excellent workers, right? So Chris Barrett's saying that his guess is Adam Cole.
Go ahead.
No, I'll let you start.
I'm gonna go with O'Reilly because I think we're talking about call ups, and there's a possibility. I mean, Cole would be the obvious one to get called up. So if anybody's gonna go over, it'll probably be O'Reilly.
And Cole would be a great choice to go to SmackDown if Daniel Bryan takes the championship, or even if Edge takes the championship, right? The question is, does Vince sit there and make him a baby face when he calls him up? And I think that would be the wrong move, right? So
he's a good baby face too. And
except right now, everybody knows him as this monster heel in NXT.
Yeah.
So this is where I find it interesting. All the after WrestleMania NXT moves to Tuesday nights poster work and everything has Adam Cole on that poster. So I think that what happens is he goes with the devil he knows, and we get Bobby Fish to return to look to help Kyle O'Reilly win the match, and Pat McAfee comes out and actually helps Adam Cole win the match.
T doesn't agree. T, you think Fish is going to go with Cole?
No. It's Red Dragon for life, baby. For life.
That's why it's a better swerve. That's why they say it's a better swerve.
Yeah, but you know what? The worst swerve ever was when the Outsiders split up and Scott Hall went with Hulk Hogan. And the Big Show went with Kevin Nash. Like, that was terrible. We don't need that.
No, because the Wolfpack was the coolest version of NWO. NWO Red.
Well, here's the other question there is does Bobby Fish come back, help Kyle O'Reilly lose the match so he helps Adam Cole win, and then that starts a feud between Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, right? And it just continues to cement Kyle O'Reilly as a babyface even bigger.
Yep.
Although I'm sorry, him wearing the Jort jacket and having the really dumb faux hawk, I'm not sold on the new look.
Can I ask you this? So that's a Dort look, but you're cool with Marty McFly coming out every week doing this shit.
Hey,
that's
man,
cool.
That's been Kushida's gimmick for like 10 years.
That don't make it cool.
He loves that movie. Leave him alone. I just bought that trilogy on Vudu.
All right, last match, because you wouldn't let me talk about it before, you big baby, is Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross. I think Kross is going to win it, because he never lost it. He got hurt and had to give it up. I think he's going to win it, and then that brings back around the Escobar thing. I think Escobar's getting pushed to go against Kross for that championship.
It would be a good first feud.
Now, if Finn loses, does he go back to on the main card? Do you think they could probably put him over in the UK?
Moving down to NXT for Finn allowed Finn to really show his what he's made of, right? And really reestablish him as a main player. Moving him over to NXT UK really would be a step down.
Really?
I mean, he's already faced Ilya Dragunov in regular NXT. So we don't need to see that again.
Well, that'd be the only person he had. I mean, that he still would have, besides that guy, besides Dragunov, he'd still have a whole new crop of wrestlers. Because I think at this point in Finn's career, he's about putting, probably helping put people over. So if he can help put some people over in the UK, because he does, you know what I'm saying?
Well, he lives in Florida.
Yeah.
So he's not going to want to be long term anywhere outside of the States, right? But I would also think that what you might see, like, let's say Finn actually does win this match. I already said I think Ciampa takes the belt from Walter, right? Well, there's a match that Finn could still have. Finn versus Walter. And then you give Walter the rub by having him take the belt from Finn. You could also have him go up against Karrion Kross, because then you really do have two monsters going against each other, similar to when Keith Lee versus Karrion Kross happened, right?
Yeah.
Ideally, here with the Finn versus Karrion Kross match, you expect Karrion Kross to finally be the guy to take down Finn Balor. If they do that, though, I see Finn getting called up. I don't see him staying in NXT. I think he got everything he needed from his second NXT run, and now it's time to move back up.
So why did he move down to begin with? Was it because they needed star power down there? Or?
I think it was a little bit of. I think it was multiple things. I think that it was definitely that NXT needed, felt they needed a little bit more star power, and they kept getting guys injured when they would win the title, right? So they needed somebody who could have good matches. But I think it worked. I think it was. He wanted
a little break too. He wanted to schedule, was it not?
Well, except everybody's only working once a week now.
Yeah.
For the last year. So but I think it was Finn moves down. He's a big shock to the system in terms of, oh wow, here's a guy that AEW fans would enjoy, right? So that's why he went down to NXT. But at the same time, I think it's also because Vince lost all hope of Balor. So Balor needed to reestablish himself. And by going down there, he established himself as the top guy in NXT again, which means at some point Vince has to take him out of there.
Yeah.
Same thing with Adam Cole. I mean, Adam Cole's been the top guy in NXT for years, and he's faced off against every single person in NXT except for Karrion Kross and Walter, right? So it'll be interesting. And because of that, I go with your theme there of Karrion Kross or winning the belt. I'm
going Finn.
You're on with Finn. Okay.
I'm going Finn.
Okay.
I think Finn's going to win.
So before we skip over to WrestleMania,
I think, like you said, Escobar may cause.
What say?
I started breaking up. I think Escobar is going to cause Karrion to lose somehow, and
I don't think it makes sense
going and
for
you
him
move
to
Finn on to another contender.
It doesn't really make sense for him to T all of a sudden is
Unless also when do you think they'll call up Karrion Kross?
What do you mean?
When are they gonna call up Karrion Kross? How long do you think he's gonna stay in NXT?
So and that's just it. If Finn's gonna be your champion, I think Karrion Kross gets called up, and don't be surprised to see him on Monday Night Raw because Vince likes the big guys.
And probably so you think of the program with Lashley then? No.
I don't think they would bring him in to feud with Lashley first, but I could totally see him coming up and facing off against a Randy Orton. And those guys have already teased it on Twitter. So Randy said, "Why don't you come up and let's make some money?"
Okay.
So I could see that. So SmackDown really was just a build-up show headed towards WrestleMania, Tino, and in it we got all the women's tag teams from Raw and SmackDown coming in, basically making claim to Nia and Shayna. We got Edge sitting there complaining and talking about how now he's the rated R superstar again. We got Kevin Owens pushing Logan Paul and stunning Sami Zayn, which I'll tell you, normally it would look like this was just a throwaway. Let's go to WrestleMania and let these two guys have a singles match with each other. But you can tell that Sammy and Kevin have put everything into it in the 3 weeks that they've had to build up this feud. And that the package that they're going to show at WrestleMania is going to show their long history as well as this really short-term, quick Logan Paul.
Well, a lot of their history is in ROH, so I don't think that they're going to be able to show any of those.
Well, a lot of it's also NXT, but you have to remember, like, for 3 years there, it was just the two of them feuding with each other for, like, the U.S. title.
Yeah.
Yeah, I Chris Barrett, just to your point here, I could totally see them being a tag team as well, but they've got similar body styles and everything else, but I totally see them, Randy being asked to be the guy that brings him up and gets him over. So that's what I would anticipate there. Interestingly, the end of SmackDown, because I don't really have a lot that I want to say about SmackDown, but the end of it was a street fight between Jey Uso and Daniel Bryan, which didn't really get out of hand like most street fights do, right? And Daniel Bryan got main event Jey Uso to do the whole tappy. And in that moment, Roman was sitting on the stage, Edge was doing commentary, and then Daniel Bryan just goes and attacks both of them. And
loved
it. It showed a fire in Daniel Bryan that we really hadn't seen, except maybe in a couple promos, But the question there, and T, because we can't see that, I'll do this so you can go ahead and do that again.
Do it again.
There you go. Normally, now I know it's not the go home show, but normally when you see that kind of thing happen, and one guy is so dominant over the other two opponents, he has no chance of winning the match. So was that Daniel Bryan's exit strategy? Like, he now no longer has a chance of winning the match? That's Tino's feelings on it? Okay. Because I have a feeling that and Terrence said that SmackDown was taped this week. So I haven't read any spoilers or anything.
You haven't read them yet either. So
I want to read them. Yeah, I didn't know it was taped, so I didn't need it. So yeah.
But yeah. I still think Daniel Bryan's going to win this one.
Yeah, I think Edge is going to win this one.
I think the smart money would be to give it to Daniel Bryan, because Edge doesn't need a title. Roman really doesn't need the title, but Roman would be a much better heel with the moment of
the chase.
Adam Pearce, it's your fault that this title isn't on me anymore. I didn't lose this match, Adam. So what are you going to do for the head of the table? I totally see that being an avenue they can go down. Like, Edge loses the match or Daniel Bryan loses the match, but Roman technically doesn't lose the match, right? So, and I think that really helps the build because Roman doesn't need the title, and it's almost like a crutch for him right now because it's keeping the title off of people that have earned the right to wear the strap right now.
Kevin Owens.
Yeah, Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, heck, Jey Uso. All those guys earned the right based on their matches with Roman. I mean, who thought, and this one's for Joe, who thought that a year ago we'd be saying that Roman was having some of the best matches on the card every week, or when he has the match? Because obviously right now he's saying I only wrestle once a month or whatever. Chris Barrett says that Edge is going to win the belt because they can make more money with a name like Edge being the champion than if Bryan wins the belt. It's difficult to say because Edge really didn't pop ratings on NXT or even on SmackDown when he first showed up there. But Daniel Bryan gets a reaction even in the Thunderdome. So... Just still not
going to give his props. He is not going to give.
He will never get Roman Reigns the props, will he?
Nope.
So, so what do you guys think? Should we go into WrestleMania predictions?
Yeah, but before we do that, I do want to touch base on Raw last week and get your thoughts on what do you think about the Hurt Business banding.
So you know that I listen to Busted Open.
Oh gosh.
So what I'll say about that part is that the Saturday episode of that, they said that they thought that WWE put more time and effort into Retribution than they did the Hurt Business. And that's not true, because when Retribution first showed up, the Hurt Business actually said, you pay us and we'll get rid of them. So Hurt Business was already in business at that point. So I mean, you got 2 years out of the Hurt Business. I have two feelings. You did
2 years?
I don't think it was 2 years.
No.
Wasn't 2
years. They weren't even a full year. It was not even a full year. This was last year that MVP came back.
Yep.
This was all during the COVID season. That's why on Villas of Vinyl, we talk about how we think MVP is an MVP of COVID.
So they had technically been around for about a year and 3 months. because MVP made his return at the Royal Rumble last year. So you're right.
And then they did that storyline with Lana. First.
Well, that was like 2 years ago at this point. So here's my feelings on it. If they mean to do something with Cedric and Shelton from it, because I'm going to tell you, last week was the first time I saw anything out of Shelton besides decent wrestling. Like when he said, "Man, don't talk to me like that." Shit. Like I'd never seen Shelton stand up for himself. Maybe not since he was part of American. He wasn't even part of American Alpha, but he was part of the world's greatest tag team. You know, him and Charlie Haas. Sorry, that's what American Alpha was styled after, or Team Angle, if you want. But I saw more out of Shelton last week than I've seen out of him in years, and it made me think, shit, if we get that Shelton Benjamin every week, I'm okay with them breaking him up, because that dude should go on a singles run. That's what I thought. Same time, apparently only one person was involved with the decision to break them up.
Mr. Out of Touch.
Yeah.
And it's one of those moments where I don't get it. I think, and maybe they feel like it for Lashley to be even bigger, he can't have the crutch of having 3 guys helping him all the time. He's got to be a monster by himself, and I think that's fair. I like him. I like MVP staying with Bobby.
You say that he's got a muster of people fighting for him all the time, then you turn to SmackDown and you got Reigns. You got Reigns having Uso do all his dirty work. He's got one guy doing his dirty work until the other Uso comes back.
I don't know. I still wonder whether or not they're going to make the other Uso into his lapdog.
My crazy prediction is involving the Hurt Business in WrestleMania, so I'm going to wait till we talk about that.
All right, well, we get ready.
I think the crazy prediction is it's a swerve.
Yeah,
and the Hurt Business really didn't break up.
But I think it's going to be bigger than that.
All right, well, we'll get there. We'll get there because we're going to start it off right now.
He's saying they're finally going to bring Mark Henry into the group.
I'm going to start it.
No, but if you're close.
Keith Lee.
No, I did question on the show, where's Keith Lee at? That's what they infer. No, that is a good idea, but nope, you'll understand. Because I'll say that to WrestleMania.
All right, well, I'll start at the bottom so Rob doesn't cry. So we're going to do the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, the Dirty Dogs against the Street Profits.
Didn't that end up getting changed to a 4-way?
Yeah, on Friday it's going to be on the pre-show Friday SmackDown or the pre-WrestleMania.
I'm just reading what the card says. So I thought that I thought Otis and with Alpha Males, whatever they got in there. I think he did. Either way, I'm going with Street Profits. Rob,
I kind of like Dolph and Bobby Roode.
You're going with Otis, aren't you, T? Otis and
No, I'm going to Mysterios if it's a 4-way. I thought it was a 4-way, and I think it's a Mysterios.
It might be.
I kind of if it ends up being a 4-way, which I think it actually is. I'm
going with Mysterios.
I could see them giving it to the Mysterios. I just don't like the idea of them giving it to the Mysterios.
Especially because Otis has been whooping their ass for the past month.
By himself.
So, yeah. All right. Now we got the U.S. Championship, Riddle versus Sheamus. Does Sheamus really need the U.S. strap?
Does he need it? No. But, kind of like how Kevin Owens has been like the MVP of SmackDown recently and not getting anything to show for it. This is one of those moments where I think we could see one of two things. I think that we could easily see Sheamus winning it almost in the same fashion that he beat Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, whatever it was, where he beat him in like a minute.
9 seconds, yeah.
Or we could see him beat the shit out of Riddle because Vince McMahon wants to see whether or not Riddle can take the beating.
I think Riddle can take the beating.
Riddle's a legit shoot fighter, so yeah, he can take the beating. But I don't know. Vince McMahon doesn't watch that stuff, so
he does.
So I would hope, based on how Riddle ended his Monday Night Raw last week, that this is Riddle's match to lose. So I go with Matt Riddle.
Me too.
Riddle.
All right. Here's the other match that we think will steal the show on night 2. Owens and Sammy.
Well, first, I think it'll be the first match of the night on night 2.
I think Sammy's going to win it because they're pushing this documentary. I hate it, but I think Sammy's going to win it.
Well, the question is whether or not Logan Paul turns on him or not.
I think Logan Paul will be involved because Kevin put his hands on him. But I
Right.
think he's going to help Owens win. I mean, he's going to help Zayn win.
I could actually see Logan Paul helping Owens win just to fuel the fire for the conspiracy theory.
So you're going with Owens?
I go with Owens getting a WrestleMania moment.
I say Zayn. You say Zayn?
I'm only going Kevin Owens because on the other show I got to stay consistent. I went with Kevin Owens, but the Sami Zayn, the more everyone talks about it, I want to switch my pick, but I'm gonna stay Kevin Owens.
All right. And Barrett says Owens is going to beat the ever living snot out of Zayn.
Doesn't mean he's going to win the match though. Because
Big E versus Apollo for the Intercontinental Championship.
In a Nigerian drum match.
Don't know quite what that is, but they might want to walk up. They want to be careful with that.
I'm going to tell you, the way that they've been pushing Apollo, it makes sense for them to give him the belt, but I think Big E needs the win.
Really?
I think he needs the win, yeah.
Yeah, because his win at the last pay-per-view was kind of
Well, and then he got beat down afterwards.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the money. I'm going to go with Apollo. I mean, I think Biggie needs it, but I think they're pushing Apollo too hard.
I think also with the gimmick, it makes more sense for Apollo to win the match. But that's also another reason why I think Big E actually walks out with it because then he sits there and gets to tell Apollo that he has no chance of fighting him again because he's even beaten him in his own match at this point.
All right, so
I'm going
Apollo, and you say Big E.
Yeah, I mean, even though, like you said, I see both your points.
Daniel Bryan wins that match. Daniel Bryan ends up making it a triple threat. Have you seen all those memes?
Yes.
You see with him and King Kong and Godzilla?
There was that one. There was X versus Sever versus Daniel Bryan. There was.
Speaking of Godzilla, I saw a meme on Facebook today. It had a picture of Curious George and Barney the dinosaur, and dude said, "Damn, video guy got me again." All right, gentlemen, we have Fried Fiend Bray Wyatt against Randy Orton.
Kentucky Fried Fiend.
Kentucky Fried Fiend.
I want the Fiend platter.
Yeah, me too.
The Fiend has to win, right?
Yeah. Alexa Bliss, though. Alexa Bliss is looking more and more just like
sadistic.
Yes. Like those contacts freak me out. I'm like, stop looking at me, bitch. Stop.
And yet somehow she's still hot.
I'm like, oh my God.
Like that's the kind of thing where, you know, like you've seen Zombieland, right? Remember how like when the girl comes over to his house at the very beginning and then all of a sudden she turns into a zombie and he's like something's different about you.
I'm about to eat the brains. Orton is going to crucify the charred up Fiend. All right. Next, we have
Fiend is going to win, and he's going to do the Soldier Boy Superman over Randy Orton when it's done.
I assume that that's probably going to be like that's not an actual regular match, right?
I think it is.
That doesn't make any sense.
Joe, do you know? Is it a regular match? I think I hadn't heard about it being a specialty match.
I heard this rumor might be a cinematic. But
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that might be a cinematic match.
Okay.
Did y'all see it? Did y'all see the Orton exchange with Soldier Boy on Twitter? Never mind. We'll talk about it later. That's too hilarious.
His dick is bigger than him. Yeah.
We'll talk about it later. That's too funny.
Do we get all right? Next, we got the Raw's women's match: Asuka and Rhea Ripley. I'm going with Rhea Ripley.
I think that it's a good introduction of Rhea with the fact that they have no build-up at all and they haven't done shit with Asuka.
And which is why they probably need to take it off of her because they're not doing shit with Asuka. And what I think they should do, and I think what they might do, is because originally, Charlotte was supposed to be in this before she got pregnant.
Wait, what?
Gotcha. They were saying she was pregnant, but they ended up she just had COVID. But they were WWE before they thought she was pregnant, and then they took her out of the match, and they're like, "Oh no, you just have COVID." But so I think Rhea's going to go over Asuka so that her and Charlotte can have that rematch because that one at WrestleMania they had last year sucked ass. So I think they probably would put that title on Rhea.
You're saying the Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley match sucked?
Yeah, dude. I mean, that was a terrible. I mean,
like almost everybody that is a professional wrestling like guru, if you will, is sitting there saying that might have been the best match on WrestleMania last year.
All right, maybe I'm just salty because Rhea lost a belt.
That's fair. That's fair because she should have. She should have gotten a quality win over Charlotte at that point. You're absolutely right.
In all fairness, that was a great match, but I was salty that she lost that belt. Next, we have Roman Reigns, Edge.
Wait, really? We're already at the last match?
No, that's not the last match. We still got 2 more. 3 more.
That's gonna be.
Never mind. We got a lot more matches, but that's
let's not talk about the championship, like the main championship matches yet.
That's nice. Killing me, Smalls.
Well, now there's the women's tag team championship. Like,
oh no! I'm sorry. I was going because I'm going backwards. That's on night 2. So this is the last. I went backwards. So. It was the first one on night 2, but I went backwards. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So this is night 2. So we got Universal Championship Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. You're still saying Daniel. I'm saying Edge.
Yes.
What are you saying, Rob?
Yes.
John Cena. No.
Hulk Hogan.
Finger poke of doom. I want to say Daniel Bryan, but the question is whether or not they want him for one more good run as the champion, or if they, like what they want to do, because they've turned Edge heel.
So I think and this is the way I'm thinking. I keep saying Edge because him and Daniel have built up this whole rivalry. So I think Edge wins, and I think Daniel chases, and I think Daniel will get a run with the belt before it's all said and done.
You know what? I'll say Edge. Because if rumors hold true, Edge really only has like 12 matches per year on his contract, which means they'll end up doing the same type of thing that they're doing with Roman, where he doesn't wrestle every week. But it also makes sense, like I said, to get the belt off of Roman so that Roman has an anger to him for it. but it does make sense that you get like at Backlash or whatever you get an Edge versus Daniel Bryan match.
I'd be cool holding off till SummerSlam.
Well, I think that Daniel Bryan would be his next feud, like just Edge versus DB, and then like I could see them going back to Roman at SummerSlam or even Survivor Series.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm gonna go with Edge. I don't want to. I think it's gonna be Daniel Bryan, but I could totally see them going with Edge. Like you don't bring him in to sit there and have him win the Royal Rumble starting at number 1, not to give him the belt.
Exactly.
So
all right, so that's night, folks.
All right, so now night 1.
I'm starting from the bottom. Shane versus Braun in a salad steel. Was it a salad steel?
Salad steel?
No.
Is it a Dale match?
It's a steel cage match.
So it's not a Dale mesh?
No. I don't know what the hell that is.
Bobby does, apparently. He's willing to give anybody who takes Drew McIntyre out a Dale mesh.
Anyway.
The tail match.
It's obvious who wins.
Pulls it out of his ass.
What's that?
I think Shane pulls it out of his ass.
So you know what I think how I think it'll end. Remember St. Valentine's Massacre?
Where Kane came back? Or Kane got introduced, I'm sorry? Or where Big Show came from under the ring?
Big Show got introduced. And Big Show came down to the ring and threw Austin into the steel cage. The steel cage opened up and Austin fell out and won the match.
Mm-hmm.
I think Braun's going to, at one point, throw Shane McMahon so hard into the steel cage that the steel cage will come open and Shane will win the match that way.
Okay.
It's a good gimmick.
What do you think?
Where's Double Kato?
Shut up.
Where's Double Kato?
You know, he did get drafted to Raw.
With that said, I'm still going Braun. I'm going Braun. But that was a scenario I would use for Shane. Double Kato come out of nowhere and help out.
Okay.
I like how T's picture froze.
Let's Braun.
All right. So speaking of Raw, I said Shane.
Okay.
I said Shane. Speaking of Raw Underground, next match, Raw Tag Team, New Day versus AJ and Omos.
What a way to introduce Omos into a match, huh?
On a losing end.
I'm gonna tell you the fact that Kofi and Xavier are sitting there trying to pop that kid and he isn't even cracking a smile is amazing. Like he's not because even AJ's trying to do it. Like the whole everybody knows that his favorite ice cream is pistachio mint, you know, and he's like, it's rum raisin, you know, like it's popping me.
Barrett agrees with me.
So Barrett agrees with you, but I'm going to say that AJ and Omos win the match.
You say AJ and Omos too?
AJ almost win the match because they're going to drop them titles Monday night.
To who?
To Shelton and Cedric.
Yep. Yes, sir. See?
And it's going to be on some. Nope. It's going to be that Omos is going to help Cedric and Shelton.
Yeah.
You saying Omos is going to join the Hurt Business is where you're starting to go. I got you now.
That's my crazy prediction. I always give one crazy WrestleMania prediction. That's my crazy prediction.
All right. Next up. Oh, we all know who's going to win this match. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins.
Cesaro finally gets his Mania moment. I think what's going to happen is Seth is going to go for the stomp. And remember how Randy Orton turned that into the RKO?
Yep.
I think Cesaro is going to jump up and hit him with the forearm, and you're just going to watch Seth just go and like land on his back.
He's going to swing him 30 times instead of 24? They said he swung him on Raw.
22, but I think what he's actually going to try to do is swing them the amount that's WrestleMania, so it'll be 37 times.
That'd be awesome.
Be crazy.
Who you got, T?
I got Seth winning, but Cesaro swinging them after the match.
Oh, okay.
You still get a swing at WrestleMania. I think Cesaro deserves to win, but I think they're gonna. This is my match of the weekend. I think they're gonna tear the roof off. Somehow Seth slimy wins, and then Cesaro's pissed off, and he gets swung at the end of the match.
You know what? Wait, if Seth wins, you know the only reason he's gonna win?
The suit that he wears.
Drip God.
Nope. The man.
Becky.
That might be her comeback.
They're not going to bring her back as a heel.
You don't.
Why not?
Why not?
I mean, why not?
But I don't think she'll be heel. Just what we had this conversation. Stone Cold and Rock were even when they were heels, people were cheering them. I don't think they're going to boo Becky, and it makes sense for Becky to come back and help her man. You know what I mean?
So this is what I could see. I could see Becky at ringside, and then she hops over the rail after he swings him like 25 times or whatever, and then she's like, "Stop it! He can't take anymore. Stop it! He can't take anymore." She hops up on the ring apron, and she's still sitting there saying it. Cesaro walks up, does this whole little like gets in her face, and then Seth comes and does one of these jobs. You know, does the old Ric Flair jammy.
Okay.
While the referee's trying to get Becky Lynch off the apron. And then,
No, I think Buddy Murphy's the one to help swim. Buddy Murphy's going to come back out and help Seth.
I think they've already gone away from that one.
Did you see the tweet that he got it deleted? He tweeted something about the Steel families were just using him. Atlanta was just using him to get on TV. Then it got deleted.
Well, yeah. and then his most recent tweet was, "Hey, Alistair, how about you and me steal the show at Mania?"
Now the next match. Bad Bunny versus The Miz. I don't know if I'm ready to see Bad Bunny wrestle.
I'm hoping that by the time this match happens, it gets changed into a tag team match. And it's The Miz and Morrison versus Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. Because at least then I expect the match to be solid and Damian Priest to put Bad Bunny on top of them to win the match. Otherwise, I don't give a shit.
I got to feel Bad Bunny can actually wrestle a little bit. This might be funny. Watch.
Funny.
Bad Bunny's such a bad wrestler that he just handed the 24/7 championship to R-Truth. He couldn't even take a pin.
Nah, he got his Grammy. He didn't want what's 24/7 title to a Grammy.
So you're going with Bad Bunny, T? Who you going with, Rob?
You know what? I am going Bad Bunny.
Unfortunately, it's the celebrity match, so it's going to be Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
The only celebrity that doesn't win at WrestleMania is Pete Rose.
The king's around. All right, next, fellas, we have the SmackDown Women's Championship. I don't even know why we're talking about this because we know who's going to win. It's going to be Sasha Banks or Bianca Belair.
So it's going to be Sasha, is what you're saying.
You know that ain't my girl. I'm on my own. Toilet.
Wow. Did you say toilet?
Twirl that hair.
Well, here, hold on. Let me make sure that you got there you go.
With my hair back and forth, with my hair. I'm surprised you don't come out to that.
So the question is, does Reginald help Bianca Belair win this match?
Reginald?
Yes.
No, but I do think that he will go with Sasha. I don't think it's going to help, but I think that he will, because he's been trying to get this, you know what I'm saying, trying to get the Sasha. So I think that he will he'll leave, what are we calling them, Shadiah, and he'll go with Sasha Banks.
Hey, that's a dope name.
Shania, whatever.
So I'll tell you what I don't want to see in this match. I don't want to see it break down into a clusterfuck. I want to see these two actually wrestle.
And I think you will. I think you will because they're both good wrestlers. I mean,
I know, but this has Vince McMahon sitting there going, "Oh, let's bring Santina back for one night." You know, and he does that shit all the time with these should be great matches, right? Like how do we spruce it up some? You know, I just see him wanting to get creative when in fact all it really needs to be is the new girl on the block thinks that she's got the best in show beat on her best day, right? So I don't know. I hope that we just have a singles match. I don't want to see anybody. No, but she did come back for the Royal Rumble. What, last year, when Beth Phoenix was in there and got busted open.
Hey, Chris Berry, I want to say something to you, man. Don't be disrespecting Zeus like that. Rest in peace, Tiny Zeus. Listen, don't be talking about the Zeus. I know we know he was limited. Come on now.
You know what? I wish what Chris Barrett says here would actually be the outcome of the Bad Bunny mismatch. That R-Truth would come down, and he'd come down and he'd be like, "I'm gonna win this Money in the Bank match." Like, see, that's a match where I think that overbooking it with a bunch of garbage will actually make that match better. Whereas with Bianca and Sasha, it really just needs to be who's the baddest bitch on the planet tonight.
I think. And finally, folks, we're at the last one. The one we're waiting to see. Lashley versus Drew McIntyre.
Go ahead, T.
Lashley is going to keep that belt. I think Lashley keeps that belt. Like I said, I think Monday is going to be a coronation. I think it's going to swerve with the Hurt Business somehow, some way. That might just be hope.
Remember, Shelton.
They can't be there.
Shelton and Cedric are barred from ringside during this match, but I don't think that stops them from trying to come down. Like, don't be surprised if you see them sitting in the front row of the audience.
So where's your almost theory come in, T?
Well, you can't have him interfere tonight because that would throw everything off. I feel like because Lashley wins, and then tomorrow Monday Night Raw, because you always have the Raw after WrestleMania is crazy. There's always some type of title change. Somehow you get you get Cedric and Shelton to challenge almost and everything. And then when you have that match, have either AJ work the match, or then when you go to tag, get knocked out by almost, or he walks away, and then they get the pin. You got tag belts back, but then also you have them somehow come out with the Hurt Business after they help Lashley, Black Lesnar anyway. Have them together now because almost has turned on AJ. You have a title match now. Your contender, Lashley versus AJ Styles. Perfect tweener turn.
You know, that's actually a pretty good estimate, which means it's not going to happen.
Exactly. It made too much sense.
If it was SmackDown, you might actually have a chance of that because Paul Heyman might have his fingers in there. But
true.
But with Monday Night Raw being Vince's baby, I don't know. As to who I see winning that match, I agree with you guys. I think Lashley holds the belt. I think it's time for Drew to probably. I kind of wish that the night after Mania they would do the draft.
So it's normally like a month after, right?
It's normally whenever the hell. But actually, I think the last one was in October. I think it was right before Survivor Series. It was right before Survivor Series because everybody on the Raw team was former NXT and SmackDown guys, and yet they were supposed to be wrestling for Raw.
So with the draft, were you saying you think Drew should move on to SmackDown?
Yeah. Yeah, I would have moved like in that situation. I would move Drew to SmackDown and I would move Roman back over to Raw. Except AJ can't be on the same program as Paul Heyman right now for whatever reason.
That's why you might keep Roman on SmackDown and just move Drew to SmackDown and get that mesh.
And you know, unfortunately, because the draft will probably be in October because that's when new season of TV starts for Fox, right? That would probably be when you bring Drew McIntyre over and you start a slow burn between him and Roman, because let's be real, he's really the only legitimate guy besides like a Lashley that you would actually see really beating Roman, right? Like Daniel Bryan beating him.
Big E, if you pick Bill right.
Well, and sure. And you know, maybe you bring Big E over to Raw at that time, and that's when he starts going up against like a Bobby Lashley.
See, everybody sleeps and laughs, but if you use Otis right, Otis can be a damn monster too.
Powerhouse.
Yes.
Yeah, but, Otis
I don't think they should have broke up Evan Machinery.
Well, Tucker's gone. Like, I mean, he's going to be in the Andre the Royal Battle Royal on SmackDown, but I mean, like, other than that, like, we haven't seen Tucky since like SummerSlam, you know, and I don't care. I don't think Tucker was all that great of a talent. I think you obviously saw which one had all the talent between the two of them, but at the same time, like Otis is broken now. Like, they broke him. He was the hottest baby face going into like coming out of Money in the Bank, and then they broke him. Like, I don't know how you break that.
Yeah.
Like that's literally taking a weeble wobble and somehow getting it to fall down.
Shut up. Chris Barrett just said Santino can beat Roman Reigns.
Joe agrees with me that Tucker's going to be in the Andre Battle Royal. Yeah, I have a feeling that SmackDown's just going to be the Battle Royal and then the Women's Battle Royal for all those that don't get on WrestleMania this year.
Wow.
The good news, though, is that it seems like WrestleMania is going to be 8 to 11 both nights. It doesn't seem like it's going to be, 4.5 hours both nights. But we've got one last thing to talk about, gentlemen, before we hop off of here, and we got 8 minutes to do it.
What you got?
Broken Skull Sessions.
How did they do that? How did they pull that off?
So for those that don't know, Stone Cold Steve Austin on the WWE Network part of Peacock, immediately following night 2 of WrestleMania, will be interviewing none other than Le Champion, Chris Jericho.
How does that happen?
So Austin was interviewed by Sports Illustrated, right? And Sports Illustrated said, "How did you pull it off?" And he was like, "Well, I got a text message after doing the one with The Undertaker from Chris Jericho. I sent him one back, said, hey, be really cool if I could get you on the show." Chris Jericho said, "Hell yeah, let's do it." And Vince, and then Steve Austin was like, "Let me just check with the boss." Said, "Hey, Vince, you cool with it?" Vince gave him the thumbs up in a text message. Steve Austin said, "Now, Vince, let me ask one more time. Are you cool with it?" And he gave him a thumbs up and a bro fist text emojis. And Austin said, "Well, shoot, son, let's do it."
Wow.
And they put it together. And
I'm laughing at Vince use emojis.
Yeah.
I'm amazed he texts. Are you kidding? But last thing I'll say about that is that Tony Khan also had to approve it.
Yeah. Hey,
so
that's a no-brainer. That's good cross promotion for him.
Well, yeah, he would never say no to it. Now, at the same time, how many times on this broadcast do you think that the initials AEW are going to be said?
I don't think so. Maybe once, And I don't think they're going to be showing clips from Jericho and AEW or mentioning Inner Circle. I don't know. I'm interested to see how they're going to do this.
You're saying 5 times?
5 times. 5 times.
So
5 times.
Here's my thought on it. I think that New Japan is on the table. He'll talk about how when I think they'll talk about how Jericho felt upset about the Festival of Friendship and not getting that main event match at Mania that he was supposed to have with Kevin Owens when they were the hottest angle going. I think they'll obviously talk about the retrospective of Jericho 30 years in the business. But I think that other than that, they'll talk about his music career. And they might say something about how you can see Jericho on nights that WWE doesn't broadcast. But I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting because obviously the interview's already done. It's already been cut. So it's WWE-ified no matter what. But remember, Sami Zayn did bring up AEW at one point when they did that electric chair interview segment. And he was like, you can ask me anything, and you're not asking me about AEW? Now, I think at this point, Vince McMahon probably sits there, and I've already said, I don't think he looks at AEW as competition.
That's where he's messing up.
Well, but I think that it's good for the industry as a whole because he doesn't look at them as competition, because you can have moments like this, but you can also have a guy like Cody Rhodes finally win the argument and be allowed to call himself Cody Rhodes again. And it's stuff like that. Like, there may be a favor that comes from Tony Khan to Vince McMahon after this. You don't know. Triple H got asked about it, and Triple H basically said, we're open for business. Now, I think that specifically it's because Peacock said, we want something that is going to make the audience go, we need to have Peacock. And Stone Cold was like, well, you're starting up that exclusivity thing on Peacock. We got this interview with Chris Jericho that you approved. Sounds perfect. So
I think my favorite thing with Stone Cold right now is that him and Ice-T are doing those Tide commercials. Have you seen those?
No.
Because they're trying to. Tide is doing a new promo where their pods are getting cold water. So like the first one is like it's just Ice-T and Stone Cold like in a call center, and they're calling people. So the first one I saw, they had called Vanilla Ice, and they were talking about and then he was talking to him, and he Vanilla Ice picked up and said hello, and then Ice-T started talking, and then Stone Cold just pops in, stop, collaborate and listen. I was like, no. And then he got off the phone and hanging up the phone, and Stone Cold goes, word to your mother. And Ice-T goes, do you know his mother? Stone goes, no. You gotta look out for those commercials, man. They're hilarious.
All right. I'm tapped out.
Oh, on time even. Damn. We went 2 hours. Usually I gotta try to cut him off. I'm proud of you, Rob.
I'm tapped out. My tooth hurts.
That's what it is.
I'm tired of talking.
Right, there it is. You won't talk no more.
Woo! I get 2 teeth pulled out on Wednesday.
Oh man, I get my second
I
shot.
can knock them out on Tuesday.
See,
what's that?
I can knock them out for you on Tuesday.
You know, if we get enough alcohol on you, me and T probably could do that.
You get enough what?
Alcohol.
Bourbon.
No, because then we wouldn't be able to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So,
Well, your teeth won't hurt anymore. You bleed out.
but all right. We talked about the Broken Skull sessions. We talked about all that. I watched Kong versus Godzilla.
I haven't watched that yet. Is it good?
I enjoyed it, but I absolutely hate the human element in it.
Shit, I gotta catch up on. I gotta watch the latest episodes of The Falcon and
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
and, what's the other one?
And Invincible.
Huh?
And Invincible.
Have you watched that T Invincible?
Yes.
I got to catch up on those two. So,
Well, I got to watch the last episode of Invincible, but you definitely got to watch the next episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
all right. So until next week, folks. Oh, so what are we doing, Rob? Are we gonna? I don't know if we can be able to do a show because I got a show 2 to 5 Saturday. I mean, if I hauled ass, I probably could get there. And then Sunday, I got the youth thing, so I probably won't be able to do it.
You're coming here Saturday night, right?
We'll probably figure it out. That might be, yeah.
Like I said, I think it's 8 to 11, and the plan there was Terrence even says that he might come. So if you guys want to do Saturday night's WrestleMania at my place, we could even do an episode right after that.
All right.
I'll bring this.
See how it goes. I might be sweaty and stinky because I got to show 2 to 5.
I will say that next Monday, if we do an episode, it's probably going to have to be a short one. Luckily, we'll have already talked about most of wrestling, I'm sure, by then. But because 7:30 in the morning the following Tuesday, so the first night that NXT is on Tuesday night at 7:30 in the morning, I get my second COVID shot.
All right. We'll figure it out.
So I got to be up butt ass early for all that. So, all right, Terrence, why don't you tell everybody where they can see you?
All right. Well, the Villains in Vinyl podcast is on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and it's one word, Villains in Vinyl. Also, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at John_T_Helios. And Villains in Vinyl is also on Instagram and Twitter, the same, at Villains in Vinyl, one word. So check us out, give us a follow, talk trash to us, comment, let us know.
All right, folks, and as always, you can find him on the Twitter machine. He's at PopChat. I am SC Tino. You can no, I'm not. I'm tired. On Twitter, I am HootieFan91. On Instagram, I'm SC Tino. He is Rob Potcheck. On Facebook, we are the Potsy and Tino Show. On Twitter, you just find us under Potsy and Tino. You can always check out our show on the YouTube, and probably the channel that you're watching right now. Rob is on Twitter. Also, Rob does have a TikTok that he does do his sketch and sip. All right. But as always, folks, we want to say thank you to Adam's House Cat, which we didn't get to play today, for the wrestling song. That's our theme song. Catch it on iTunes for 99 cents. And as always, out in Charlotte, on that big house on the hill,
Manny Andrade is saying,
COVID. No.
freedom.
Charlotte's going, ew. But Flair's going, woo!
Woo! Woo! Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Give a like to the show, folks. Thanks so much.